Hello viewers, welcome to Science and Biology Insights. This is another module for your learning that is about nervous system and the nervous system, particularly the spinal cord. So before moving on, just subscribe our channel and like our videos for more informational content. So let's begin our journey through the nervous system. You already know that nervous system consists of brain and the spinal cord. In my previous video, we have discussed structure, function, location of brain. Today's video is about the spinal cord, and we will be discussing how spinal cord is related to the brain, what is its structure, function, and where it is located. So just remember that keep watching video till end so that you can grab all the related information you want to discover about spinal cord. So, the human spinal cord is basically oval-shaped hollow cylinder of nervous tissue. This hollow cylinder is roughly 45 centimeter in length, and it starts at the base of the brain and it extends till the lower back, and it is protected by the vertebra of the backbone. 31 pair of nerves originate from the spinal cord. Did you know that, like brain, your spinal cord is also protected? And there are basically four layers which are protecting your spinal cord. Number one is the vertebrae, that means cranium. Then comes the ligaments, meninges, which is providing the nutrition and energy to your spinal cord. And then cerebrospinal fluid, which is present to provide the cushion against any sort of shocks or injuries. Basically, your spinal cord is acting as a coordinator which carries the reflex actions from sensory neuron till motor neuron, and it is functioning to help the brain and its processing. I would like to tell you about the three types of the neurons which are composing your spinal cord. Number one is the sensory neuron, number two is the motor neuron, and number three is the mixed neuron. All these three types are contributing to the function of the spinal cord. Sensory neuron carries the information from the receptor to the brain and the spinal cord. It has one dendrite and one axon, which are myelinated, means they are protected with a layer of fats. Then comes the motor neuron that carry the impulses from the brain and spinal cord to the effectors such as your muscles. They have many dendrites and one axon. Interneuron is composed of many type of the dendrites and axons, and it is found in brain and spinal cord both. The interneuron carries the impulses from sensory neuron to the motor neurons. So this is a recall to the three types of the neurons which are composing the general structure of brain and the spinal cord. One of the very important element of your brain and spinal cord is gray matter and white matter. So, when we look into the cross-sectional area, we find that central nervous system is composed of two distinct areas, gray matter and white matter. Gray matter is non-myelinated fiber, however, the white matter is myelinated fiber. What is non-myelinated and myelinated? Non-myelinated means there is no fat sheet or layer over the neuron. However, the white matter composed of myelinated means there is a sheet of fat composing the white matter. Gray matter is mainly the cell bodies, or you can say it contains most of the brain's neural cell bodies, and it is composing 40% of your brain. White matter is composing 60% of your brain, and it is made up of bundles which connect various matter areas. For talking about the normal adult person, the gray matter is fully developed when the person reaches in her or his 20s. However, white matter is not fully developed, or it keeps developing throughout the 20s and peak is in the middle ages. Your gray matter is conducting, processing, and sending the information to various parts of the body. However, white matter interprets the sensory information from various parts of the body and responds accordingly with the help of the spinal cord and the brain. A cross-section of the spinal cord will reveal that white matter arranged around a butterfly-shaped area of gray matter. The white matter, as we know, that consisted of myelinated fiber, means axons form the nerve tracks ascending to and descending from the brain. The white matter is grouped into a discrete sectors called funiculi. The gray matter contains cell bodies, unmyelinated motor neuron, and the interneuron, connecting the two sides of the cord. Gray matter cells form projections called horns. You can see that in our next slide. Information travels up the ascending tract of the neuron and is sorted by responses that are induced by the nerve impulses traveling down the descending tract through the spinal cord. So, the spinal cord's gray matter is surrounded by white matter. Here is the cross section area of spinal cord, where you can see in the center is the gray matter, which is a butterfly, surrounded by the white matter. However, there are ventral roots of the motor neuron and dorsal roots of the sensory neuron. So we can say that sensory information is concerned with the dorsal portion of the spinal cord, whereas the motor information is concerned with the ventral portion of the spinal cord. There are also some interneurons present which are connecting the sensory neurons to the motor neurons. After the processing, this information is carried from sensory to the motor neuron and to the effective. Your nerves, which are arising from the nervous system, is composing peripheral central nervous system and is composed of nerves which link central nervous system with the different body parts. These nerves, which arise from your brain, are known as cranial nerves. However, the spinal cord nerves are known as spinal nerves. There are 12 pairs of cranial nerves and 31 pairs of the spinal nerves in the human body. Some of the cranial nerves are sensory, some are motor, and some are mixed. While in the spinal nerves, all are mixed nerves. Human spine is divided into different four sections of vertebral column: cervical, thoracic, lumbar, and sacral regions. The spinal cord and the spinal nerves that enter and exit the vertebral column are divided into these regions as well. We know that there are 31 pairs of spinal nerves that are arising from the spinal cord and they are all mixed nerves. So let's discuss how many nerves are passing in each region. 8 nerves are passing in the cervical region, means your shoulder and arm and neck region. 12 from the thoracic region, means your chest cavity area. 5 from the lumbar, lower abdominal area. 5 sacral, below the lower abdominal area, and 1 coccygeal, means the pelvic bone, where completes is the complete division of your vertebral column and your spinal nerves. So let's give a look to the nervous pathway or the reflex arc. Reflex actions are also known as reflexes. Your reflexes are the responses to external and internal environmental changes. The responses are immediate or automatic, without the intervention of will. Central responses are without the help of the brain. In this case, the spinal cord acts as the control center. Such responses are called reflex, which involve no conscious control. For example, the nervous pathway for a well known reflex called withdrawal of your hand by touching a hot object. The heat of the object stimulates the nerve endings in the skin. Impulses are produced. The impulse travel along the sensory neuron to the spinal cord. In the spinal cord, the impulse are transmitted first across a synapse to the interneuron and then across another synapse to the motor neuron. Impulses leave the spinal cord along the motor neuron to the effector. The effector is the arm muscle which then contracts. This brings about a sudden withdrawal of your hand. There are many other examples such as sneezing, coughing, blushing, scratching, and all other like blinking of your eye when your hand is waved in front of it. So these reflexes, which are the result of the nervous pathway, are known as reflex arc. Basically, a reflex arc consists of sense organ, sensory neuron, interneuron reflex center, motor neuron, and effector, which could be the muscles or the glands. So this is how your spinal cord and brain are working together to give you a good body posture, good body balance, maintenance, emotions, and all other feelings are under the direct control of your brain and spinal cord. So I hope you clearly understand what spinal cord is made up of, how it is protected, and how many types of neurons are composing it, what is reflex arc and reflex action. But still, if there is some confusion, don't forget to comment so that we can clear that information for you in our next videos.